Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we are going to map out a blueprint for one of the most powerful ideas in business today, customer relationship management, or CRM. And as you're about to see, it is so much more than just another piece of software.
All right, let's get into it.
All right, so let's just jump right in with a big question that really gets to the heart of a huge misunderstanding. When I say CRM, what pops into your head? Is it just some program you install, a dashboard you log into every morning? If that's what you're thinking, well, you're not alone, but you're only seeing one little piece of a much bigger picture. Because the reality is, it's way bigger. See, CRM isn't a product you buy. It's a philosophy you adopt. It's a whole business strategy that revolves entirely around your customer. The main goal isn't just to close one deal. It's about building real, long-term relationships where both you and the client win. It's a major shift in thinking, away from focusing on your product to focusing on your customer.
And this right here, this is the core purpose of the whole thing. It's all about creating dual value. Think about it. On one side, you're giving your customer an incredible personalized experience that they love. And on the other side, you're maximizing how valuable that happy customer is to your company over their entire relationship with you. It is the definition of a win-win.
So, if we're sticking with this idea of CRM as a grand blueprint for building better business relationships, what's holding it all up? Well, like any good plan, the entire structure rests on 4 key pillars. Each one has a really critical part to play. So here's our high-level look at the complete architecture. As you can see, there are 4 connected parts to this blueprint. We've got strategic, operational, analytical, and collaborative CRM. So let's break down what each of these actually does.
First up, we have strategic CRM. And get this part has nothing to do with technology, not a single byte. This is all about culture. It's the commitment right from the very top of the company to put the customer at the absolute center of every decision that gets made. It's the philosophy that guides everything else.
Next, we've got operational CRM. Now, this is where the technology that we all think of usually comes into the picture. This is the hands-on, practical side of things that automates and smooths out all those daily customer-facing jobs. You know, things like Salesforce automation, marketing campaigns, customer service tickets. This is the engine room that keeps things running. Now, pay close attention to this next one, because the sources use a really powerful word to describe it. They actually call analytical CRM the heart of the entire architecture. And once you see what it does, you'll totally get why it's so important. And here's why. Analytical CRM is basically the brains of the operation. It's what takes in all that customer data, what they bought, what they like, every time they've called or clicked, and it uses really smart tools like data mining to spot patterns and pull out insights. This is the part that turns a mountain of raw data into genuinely smart business decisions and those perfectly personalized experiences for your customers. And last but not least, we have collaborative CRM. This pillar is all about one thing: breaking down those internal silos. You know what I'm talking about. It uses technology to make sure that your sales team, your marketing team, customer service, and even outside partners are all looking at the same information and singing from the same song sheet. The results? A totally seamless, unified experience for the customer, no matter who they talk to. Okay, so we've got our blueprint. We've got our 4 pillars. But you can't just build a skyscraper overnight, right? You need a construction schedule. And it's the exact same thing with CRM. You have to implement it in smart, deliberate phases. And you know, the source material is crystal clear on this. Trying to do everything all at once is just a recipe for failure. A phased rollout where you tackle the big project in smaller, manageable chunks is way more effective and honestly a lot less painful in the long run. So what does a phased approach actually look like? Well, here's a great example of a 3-stage evolution. You might start with a pretty basic goal, like getting better at cross-selling to existing customers. Once you've nailed that, you move to stage 2, maybe expanding your product line or your distribution channels. Then finally, in stage 3, you can start to roll out more complex, value-added services. It's an evolution, not a big bang revolution. And now we finally get to the part everyone jumps to first: the technology. But notice how far into our blueprint we are. The tech is just the toolbox. You absolutely have to have the strategy and the phased plan worked out before you even think about picking up the tools. So let's look at the 2 main kinds of toolkits you have to choose from. So the big decision you'll face in the CRM tech world often comes down to this choice right here: on-premise versus hosted, which we all pretty much call cloud-based CRM now. And each one has a totally different take on how you implement it, how much it costs, and how much control you have. Okay, let's break this down because it really lays out the trade-offs so clearly. On-premise means exactly what it sounds like. You buy the software and you install and run it on your own servers. Yeah, it's a bigger cost up front, but you get total control and you can customize it to do anything you want. It's perfect for big companies that need to integrate it with a ton of other systems. Then you've got hosted or cloud CRM. That's more like a subscription you pay for every month. It's way cheaper and faster to get started, which makes it awesome for smaller businesses that don't have a big IT team. The trade-off? You get less customization and you have to be okay with your data living on someone else's servers. It's really about picking the right tool for the job you need to do.
All right, we've walked through the whole site. We've seen the blueprint, the pillars, the construction schedule, and the toolbox. But before we sign off on this project, there's one last and frankly, most important inspection we need to do.
I really love this quote because it just brings everything full circle. Remember how we said earlier that analytical CRM is the technical heart of the operation? And that's true. The software is the engine. But this quote reminds us that it's the human strategy, the culture, the vision, the actual relationships that gives that heart a reason to beat in the first place. So look, if you take just one thing away from our explainer today, let it be this. Real successful customer relationship management is always a fusion of three things: the right people with a customer-first mindset, the right processes to deliver value over and over again, and the right technology to make it all happen. It is never, ever just about the software. And that leaves us with a pretty fascinating question to think about for the future. As we move into a world that's more and more driven by AI and automation, what happens to that human element we just said was so important? Will that genuine, messy, unscripted human touch become a bug in the system that we try to optimize away? Or will it become the most valuable, sought-after feature a business could possibly offer? Something to think about. Thanks for joining me.